Hi friends, welcome back to At Home with Holly. My name's Holly and I'm so glad that you're here with me today. We are going to be starting some seeds, just like we've been doing basically once a week the last few weeks, and we'll keep going every few weeks, starting seeds as it gets closer. The way you want to figure out when to start your seeds inside, if you have grow lights or a sunny window or heat mats or all the things, if you're going to be starting from seed, before you want to know your average last frost date, and Mr. Google will help you. And then on the back of the seed packets, it says go backward, start 4 to 8 weeks, start, 10 to 12 weeks, start whatever before your last frost date. Another really helpful tool is Clydes Planner. I'll try to find a picture of mine and put it up here. So this is a Clydes garden planner. And the way it works is you pick, for example, if you wanted to know when to plant your peas, you would find the peas and you would match this lineup with your last frost date. So my last frost date is right around here. So you would match your peas and you can do first outdoor planting date that day and you will harvest it then, right? And so it also has start inside date and first planting outside date. So it has everything that you would want and the harvest dates. It's pretty cool. It doesn't have every vegetable, but it has a lot of the categories. And then the really cool part is it also has the fall side. So you would put your last frost date. So for me, not exact, but somewhere around here. And so it could tell you for summer sowing to start inside in June, plant outside then, all that kind of stuff. And it's just a really nice way to build your confidence as a gardener that you're starting seeds around the right time. I'll put a link below for this if you're interested as well. That's a really good tool to be able to find out for, broccoli, when to start it, not only when to start it inside, but when to transplant it outside. So that's a really good really good tool as well. So let me grab the seeds that we're going to be planting today. We are going to be doing our cold weather crops. So as a reminder, we did do winter sowing. And so we have that as our first way we planted our cold crops, meaning brassicas, Brussels sprouts, broccoli, cabbage, that kind of stuff. And we're also going to be starting our reliable backup round of them inside, because winter sowing, if it works, great. And if it doesn't, you want to have some backups, because you'll be 10 weeks behind or whatever if you didn't get some started. So we're going to get a few started inside as well. And then I'm actually going to start my peppers, because peppers take a very long time. They are notorious for taking a very long time to germinate. And I am comfortable potting them up if they germinate early and they are inside maybe 2 weeks too long. I'm more comfortable potting them up than not starting them from seed and not having them, because the varieties that I grow, they're not the ones that you can buy at my local nursery. So some of them you can, most of them you can't. So I want to be able to get the varieties that I want to grow. And so that means I'm starting them from seed and starting them now, first week of February. So let's get started. I'm going to grab these seeds. I'm going to walk you through what we're planting. I'm also going to get my tray set up. I'm going to do a 32 cell, and I'm going to get that filled with Pro Mix. I'm going to mix the Pro Mix with Trifecta Plus slow release organic fertilizer from MI Gardener. I'm going to mix those two together, fill up the pots, and then I'll meet you back here and we will get planting. So just like normal, I make sure and double counted to make sure I was going to have enough enough if I did a 32 cell, and I would. And then I went ahead and got my Pro Mix, moistened it, added in Trifecta Plus fertilizer. Not necessary, but I just like to do it because it's slow release and that way it's there when they need it. And then I added my pre-moistened, pre-fertilized Pro Mix to each of these containers, got them in the bootstrap farmer tray that they come with, and we're ready to plant. So we've got seed, we've got labels. Let's talk about what we're going to be planting today. So I am missing a couple seed varieties because I ordered them last minute from MI Gardener. And everyone else ordered them last minute from my gardener. So normally it's like a 2-3 business day shipping. Right now it's like almost 10. So I think I'll have them next week and I'll just go ahead and add them in. They won't be too late. So the first thing we're going to plant is we're going to do some red Russian kale. I love that kale and it's an easy one to grow. We're going to do that. Let me see how many I decided to do. I think that's the only one I decided to do of that kale. I have that still growing outside right now. And I also started them in our winter sowing day. So for the 2 kales that we're going to start, I'm just going to do 1 each of the kale because I'll end up with like 4 each at this point. And my kale has been producing all winter too. So, okay, so we're going to do red Russian kale. And then we're also going to do blue curled Scotch kale. I am not a huge kale eater, but I do like it in soups. I do like it in quiche, and I like to feed it to my chickens. So I always have some growing for the chickens. This seed is 3 years old, so I'm gonna kind of seed heavily. Blue curl Scotch kale. I did not bring any washi tape down here with me, so whatever they've got on them is how they're going to stay close. But I'll leave them in the bucket and reclose them later. I like to reseal my envelopes with washi tape because you can seal and reseal lots of times and it stays pretty sticky, but it doesn't rip up the packages. Okay, so the next thing we're going to plant is Catskill Brussels sprout. I keep trying to grow Brussels sprouts. That's this one. And I grow them. So one year I grew them and they didn't get very big, but they the plant didn't get very big, but they like headed up really big. And I was like, okay, this is great. And then last year I tried it again. The plants got really tall and they didn't size up as much. So I'm going to shoot for somewhere in the middle this year. But we learn as we go. So we're just getting better every time. So Catskill Brussels sprouts. The first year, I think it wasn't that great just because, honestly, the pest pressure. But now I build Brassica cages that go over everything that the cabbage moths try to get to. And that has made my life a lot better. Okay, next we're going to do red bowl Brussels sprouts. Same thing happened to me last year with these. They grew really tall, but they didn't necessarily size up as great as I wanted them to. So they were okay. They were just small. All of them were okay last year, just small. I want them bigger. So I'm going to get them started. Got them winter sown as well. See if that changes anything in the variable. These are new seeds, so I don't need that many. Okay, next is Long Island Brussels sprout. I'm just trying all the varieties. Just because something grows really well with someone you see on YouTube or anywhere, it doesn't mean it's going to grow perfectly in your garden. So a lot of the times I will try things, and just because someone says they're awesome doesn't mean they're great. Doesn't because someone says they're awful doesn't mean they're awful. I like to try them at least a couple seasons if it's something that I want to learn how to grow, just to see the difference. So that's why I've got 3 different kinds of Brussels sprouts, and we're just going to figure out which one grows the best in my garden with me as the gardener, with myself as the gardener, if that makes sense. Because maybe, I don't know. We're just going to try it that way. Okay, so next is, we're going to go on to the cabbages. I do have a couple cabbages on the way. I will throw a picture of the other 2 varieties I have up on the screen right now from my gardener. So I'm excited to get those. But for right now, we're going to plant the ones we have. So I've got 3 of them Yes. Okay. So we're gonna do 2 of the Jersey Wakefield. I think we have these in the winter sowing area as well. I know we do, actually. I love cabbage, fried cabbage, coleslaw, all the things. Okay, next we're gonna do Golden Acre cabbage. Just old reliable, you know. Cabbages can be early, late. Some of them are, quick, less than 80 days. Some of them are like 100 some days. So just look to make sure. Like this one is a 60 to 65 day maturing. I think probably more like 75, but still I have a long enough spring. It's not super long, but I have a long enough spring that should work out really well before it gets too hot. Oops, I did 2 of those. Let's see. I did not mean to do 2 of those. Let me see if I have a tag for that from last year. Nope, but I'll just grab another. Okay. Let me grab one before I forget. Because if you don't, you will forget. I've also got some neighbors that are gardeners and some friends that are first-time gardeners this year. So if I grow a couple extra, that's okay. No big deal. Okay, and the last one is this one from Baker Creek. This one did pretty well last year too. I only got 1 of them last year. So I'm excited to try this one again. I think this was, yeah. Now, along with the cabbage that I still have coming from My Gardener, I do have one variety of bell pepper coming. I'll pop that on the screen right now for you to see. So I'm excited to have that one coming. But we have a ton of fun pepper varieties that we're going to plant today. So let me walk you through what we're going to plant today. These are not in any particular order. So sometimes the spicy ones are mixed in, but I think I have all the, and by spicy, I mean barely spicy. Yeah. We'll do the spicy ones first. So for spicy peppers, some of these I want to make my own little jars of, how those like diced green chilies essentially. And some of them I want to make different like appetizers, like stuffed jalapeno peppers and stuff like that. And then one of them I just grew and I really liked them and I could barely get the seeds anywhere. So I want to grow it again and maybe, I want to grow it again. Okay. So the first one with any kind of heat, I'm not a huge heat loving person. So more like mild to medium. Medium is as like high as I get basically. So we're going to do some ancho peppers. We're going to do some jalapenos. We're going to do 3 varieties of jalapenos. I just want to pick out which one does the best in my garden and then kind of go from there. And then the last one we're going to do, it's got a spice to it, is the AOS Conpo. I think that's how you pronounce it. This one, it's just got a really cool flavor to it. Jess on Roots and Refuge talked about it maybe like 5 years ago on a garden tour. And the way she described it, I was like, oh, I want to try that. And I tried it last year and it is delicious. So those are the spicy ones we're going to be growing. Let me get these in some pots and then we'll talk about some bell peppers that we're going to end. One other that's not a bell pepper that we're going to be growing as well. Okay, let's talk about sweet pepper varieties sweet pepper varieties that I'm going to be growing this year. So the first one is, I love bell pepper, and I love so many different colors. I love all the colors that they make of bell peppers. um, so the first one is the coral bell pepper. The second one is the chocolate beauty bell pepper. The next one, I'm super excited about this one, the lilac bell pepper. I love purple bell peppers. Love, love, love. Then we've got some more classics. Big red pepper. We've got California Wonder bell pepper. This is a classic. Emerald Giant is another kind of classic one. Then we've got New Mexico Parker. That's not a bell, but it's still a sweet pepper. Really thick walls. Doesn't have a ton of seeds. I like that. Gotta have a yellow variety. So Sunbright Sunbright bell pepper. Purple Beauty. I grew these last year. They're kind of almost like a purple brown. So I'm excited to have the lilac variation too, but these were yummy. And then two that are kind of fun are the mini bell mix. And so you plant these, and each plant is going to grow a different color. So you don't really know what you're going to get. So you could get a green, could get a red, could get a purple, or you can get all of them. So that's really fun. And then the last one that I'm going to grow for pepper varieties is going to be habanada, because I wanted the flavor of a habanero without the heat. So I'm excited to try those. I haven't really tried any of the ones like that, like the natapinos or the habanadas. So I'm kind of new to the idea of planting for the flavor, not the heat, because I like, that was too many. I am a fan of the flavor of spicy foods, but the older I get, the less I can handle the heat. And I don't have a gallbladder anymore. And when you don't have a gallbladder, spicy does not go great anymore, I have found, for me. And some of my friends that do not have gallbladders. So anyway, I am excited to try. I could not find natapinos. They were not in stock. So I did not pick up any of those, but I did in the habanadas. So I'm excited about those. I'm going to plant one more thing of mini bell peppers. Peppers and tomatoes, you can plant like a ton in this little cell. And as they grow, you can actually separate them and put them in individual pots. So depending on how they germinate, I may have multiples. Probably will have multiples of each of these. But the mini bell pepper, I knew I wanted like multiples of those to give to people. So I'm going to do 2 cells of those. The Brassica, not a big fans of transplanting in terms of like separating. Like you can do it, but it's really easy to do peppers and tomatoes. Not as easy with the Brassicas. So Purple Beauty. Where are you? Purple Beauty, right in front of me. I'm also trying to use up some of my older seeds. A lot of these I have newer, fresher seed packets. So I just want to kind of use up some of these older ones. So I might go a little heavy on the seeds too, because older seeds don't germinate as well, but they definitely won't germinate if you throw them away or don't plant them. So we're definitely going to plant them. So Sunbright. I definitely should have brought my washi tape down, but that's okay. We're making it work. Let's see, California Wonder. On all of my tags for peppers, I also write S or H, so sweet or hot. That way I know, are you a sweet pepper or are you a hot pepper? Because Olivia likes to try stuff from the garden, as do I. And last year and the years previous to that, I would grow like cayennes or a little more heat, a little more heat, trying to do like pepper jellies and stuff like that. And so it's definitely important to do the S or the H. Okay, Emerald Giant. Big Red. There we are. Lilac. That one we're excited about. Okay. Chocolate Beauty. And last but not least, Coral Belle. Okay, I'm gonna kind of push these seeds down a little bit, make sure that I don't take it from one to the next. As I go. You don't have to do this. This is just what I'm doing to make sure they get good contact. And then I will sprinkle a little bit of extra soil over the top. Water them in. Cover with vermiculite. Water them in again. That way the moisture level stays great on top where they're going to germinate. And then I will get them on a heat mat. Peppers like heat. And I will also put I'll put a humidity dome. Peppers are one of the few things that I will put a humidity dome on because they take forever to germinate. And just when you start to think, oh my gosh, my seeds are rotting in there, they're not going to grow, then all of a sudden you see the little sprouts. And so to help them along their way so that I don't go crazy than I am, I'm going to definitely give them a humidity dome to keep that heat and moisture in there. I don't love humidity domes because you tend to get some, mildew, algae type stuff, but we'll just do the best we can. I'm gonna get these sprinkled, watered, sprinkled, covered, and put on the heat mat. Okay, all watered in. Put this heat mat in. Okay, they are tucked in and ready to grow. Okay, guys, that's going to do it for our plantings today. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me as we are growing our way into 2024. I'm excited to see what varieties you guys are growing too. I want to say thank you for all of the likes and the shares and the comments, and I can't wait to see you guys next time. Bye, my friends.